welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review and first impressions of the new Maybelline contour palette. I am so excited to do this video today because, as you already know, I love to contour. It's my favorite thing, and back in the day when I didn't have too much funds in my bank account, I only used drugstore products, and it was so difficult to find contouring powders in the drugstore because it just wasn't there. I was super excited to go to the drugstore and see this contour palette out. I was like, oh my god, I have to try it. I really have high expectations for Maybelline. I think Maybelline just does a lot of great drugstore products. I'm a big fan of a lot of the stuff that they have. Really hoping that it will deliver, so I'm really excited to talk about and review this palette. So right off the bat, this definitely reminds me of the Urban Decay like contour palette, because they do have a contour powder, a blush, and a highlighter within their palette. So this definitely replicates like the same layout as their contour palette. I don't own any of the I don't own any of the Urban Decay contour palettes, so I can't give you a direct comparison to it, but I just know for a fact that the layout is definitely the same. I'm a huge fan of their packaging because it's super sleek and compact. I don't like anything that's bulky because it's just not travel friendly and it's difficult to store. They did have two palettes. They had one for light and one for medium deep. Of course, I picked up medium deep. I just think it will just match me a little bit better than the light palette. So I actually haven't opened this up. This is my first time opening it in camera. So this first impressions is so real right now. So real. All right, so let's go ahead and open this. And it also comes with a brush right here, this little tiny brush. It's nice that this came with a brush, but to be honest, I don't think I will be using this at all. I will just be using the brushes that I own. This contour brush is really not gonna give you the best contour finish. It's just not gonna give you the best finish. So, I mean, contouring itself is already a little bit more of an advanced technique when it comes to makeup. So you are going to definitely need some good brushes that will work exactly for that. And I just don't think this is gonna be a brush you can use. Yeah, no. So let's see, I'm actually really excited to try this because, my gosh, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just swatch the contour powder. It feels very creamy. Yeah, so it's definitely very warm. The blush is actually quite pink. Ooh, this highlighter is actually really nice. It's blending in very nicely. It just doesn't look too like glittery. It looks like a very pretty like satin finish powder. So I've already done, as you can probably see, I've already done my lips, my eyes, my brows. I've done my foundation also. I used the L'Oreal Pro Matte Foundation, and I just set everything lightly with some translucent powder so that I'm creating a very clean, even canvas for the powders to go on. So first off, I'm gonna start and contour my face. I will be using my Sephora Pro Contour Brush right here. I will also link down below some drugstore alternatives if you are looking to get some drugstore brushes, because like I said, that brush that is included with this palette is not ideal for contouring. I don't think you're gonna get your best results using that brush. And what I normally do when I contour my face, I will put it right here in a little bit of my forehead and down the jawline. So let's get started, guys. Whoa. So right from the beginning, I really like it. So it is pretty pigmented. I just dabbed my brush like once and tapped off the excess, and I'm just blending it into underneath my cheekbone right here, and then just blending it back. Guys, I am pretty impressed with the way this is blending into my skin. It's not coming off blotchy or patchy. It's really going on pretty smoothly. So far so good. I really do like that contour powder. It's really beautiful, like it a lot. I am now going to apply some of that blush that's in this palette. I will be taking this blush brush from It Cosmetic. Like the same thing, just tapping off the excess, smiling, and then popping it to the apples of my cheeks. This is definitely more on the pink side. Definitely gives you a really pretty like satin finish to the cheeks, which is very flattering. I said earlier that when I swatched that powder on my skin, it almost looked like the glitter. I hate calling it glitter because it's not glitter, but just like the golden silver flecks that's laced throughout the blush was really prominent when I put it on my skin. I was a little worried that it was gonna be like the same effect on the skin, but it's not. Actually, it's blending in so nicely. And it's giving me like a very like subtle sheen. Like I said, guys, I had high expectations for this, but at the same time, I was really prepared for it to fail also, because I just don't know like how these contour palettes are gonna be, especially coming from the drugstore. But so far, I am like really impressed with this. Really impressed with this. I mean, I'm just gonna go back in and just blend things together with my contour brush. So this, holy moly guacamole, this is pretty good. So next step, of course, third step is gonna be the highlighting powder. I'm excited for this. It did swatch really nice on my skin, so hopefully it does the same thing on my face. I will be using this Smith brush 112, which is like their bronzer brush, but it actually works really well as a highlighting brush. I also want to do a mini rave about this later on in the future, about this brush, because, but anyways, we're not talking about the brush right now. We're talking about this. So I will be highlighting my cheeks, like right above here, my nose, like typical places that I would normally apply highlight to. So doing the same thing, just putting my brush here and really tapping at the excess, because these powders are very pigmented, so. Okay, so the highlighting powder is also amazing. It's blending in really nicely with the rest of the products. It looks, I mean, looking at myself in the viewfinder in my camera, I can see that it is giving me such a beautiful sheen. Oh my goodness, guys, I am so impressed with the Maybelline contour palette. So impressed. Like, I did not expect to be this excited about the contour palette. I usually think, you know, a lot of like drugstore powders are not always the most blendable. They're not always soft and creamy, and you know, this is everything that I would want in a contour palette. I mean, like I said before, I've mentioned this a few times already in the video, that the contour powder is not what you think it would be. I mean, usually a classic contour powder does have more a neutral, like grayish undertone to it. This is a very warm contour powder, which, like I said, it will work great if you do have a medium to deep complexions, because gals like me normally have like a yellowy, olivey undertone to it, and so a warmer contour powder is actually going to complement our skin tone. It's not gonna like look too like muddy or orangey. So this is a really great like matte bronzer. It does have a little bit of a reddish, a slight tinge of like red-ish, orange-ish undertone to it, but nothing that's too excessive. It is about like $12 at the drugstore, like $12 to $13. So that's a little bit on the higher price end. And we compare this to like the high-end contour palettes out there. I mean, this is definitely a steal, and the powders itself are really like the quality is really nice. The only thing I can't attest to it is the longevity of this powder. Obviously, this is a first impression video. This is the first time I'm trying it. I haven't like worn this in like a longer period of time, like the day, so I can't say like how well it lasts or if it rubs off my skin easily or whatnot. But if I do ever, I will probably test this in the future and just see how long it will last. I will definitely update you guys either in the description below or updated blog posts. So, and guys, that concludes my very first review, my very first impressions and demo on the Maybelline contour palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I really recommend this product. I think you should definitely check this out. I'm so happy that the Drugstore is finally coming out with some contour powders and contour products, and Maybelline did a really standout job with their first contour palette. But I 100% based on my first impressions and just trying this on my face right now, back this up, and I also really recommend this. I mean, it is so beautiful. I think I'm gonna be using this a lot more. I mean, the only downside I think is just that the bronzer, I mean, the contour is more like a bronzer. It's not very neutral tone. It's definitely more on that warmer side. But in terms of the quality of the powders, it is amazing. It is very pigmented. It is very soft and creamy. It blends into the skin really nicely. I don't see any patchiness, blotchiness. I mean, it looks really flawless right now. Like, I know I say that word flawless a lot. I probably throw that word around way too much, but I do think it looks really nice. I mean, for a drugstore, whoa, I mean, this is amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed this first impression / demo of the Maybelline contour palette. Let me know if you guys try it out and let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you find this video helpful. I'm super excited about this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.